Last week, Walmart's chief financial officer announced that the retailer will have to raise the prices on many items because of tariffs, despite a 90-day reprieve lowering duties on Chinese imports. Shoppers, they say, could see increased costs by the end of this month.
So here with what this could entail is our economics professor and friend Tyler Schipper with the University of St. Thomas. Good to see you again. It's been a bit.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
All right, tariffs. So much talk about tariffs.
So much talk.
And then Walmart coming out last week and saying they're going to have to increase prices. Where are we with tariffs? I mean, we're not really seeing the effects of them yet. There's just a lot of talk about them.
Yeah, so I think consumers aren't really seeing the talk yet, but a lot of businesses are. Particularly small businesses have been struggling, and a lot of big businesses like Walmart have kind of been taking a wait and see approach, but we're kind of reaching the time where they can't continue to do that, and they're going to start passing it on to consumers.
It sounds like they're doing their best to not have it be on some of their more like staple type items.
Foods and stuff.
Yeah, but if it hasn't really come into effect yet, I get, and I've hearing from the White House telling them to not do it. It had been a big decision for them to have to say that they're going to raise the prices.
Absolutely. Like when you think about Amazon said that they were going to start posting prices that had the tariff on them, they got a lot of pushback from the White House because it's, and Walmart wanted to stress this was not political. This was a business decision that if their input costs are going up at some point, there's pretty small profit margins in retail. They compete against a lot of other people, and they have to pass some of that on to consumers. They are worried about consumers' mood, though, right? For those staples, they're worried that consumers won't tolerate that, and so they have to be really picky about where they're going to raise their prices.
Do we see a ripple effect? Does Walmart become kind of the first, and we start to see this ripple down into other grocery chains, big store?
I think instead of that, I think we've already seen some price effects for lots of, I'm guessing if you check your spam inbox or your promotions, if you have Gmail, you've got a newsletter in there that says that we're raising prices. I think Walmart's interesting because Walmart is known for having low prices, putting pressure on their suppliers. And so if they're having to raise prices, it almost certainly means everybody else is going to have to as well.
Yeah, that makes sense because that's their whole business plan, right? It's such a big company. They can dictate what the price is, which smaller companies don't have that ability.
Yeah. And we've seen some delay in this because big retailers built up some cushion. One of the things that we saw in the GDP report a couple weeks ago now was that we saw a big increase in the trade deficit. And that was driven by retailers like Walmart trying to get a bunch of inventory in before those tariffs went into effect. And so they built up a little bit of a cushion to wait to see what would happen with tariffs. And now that, yes, tariffs have come down to just 30% on China, that's still 30% that wasn't there before. And that inventory is starting to run down, and hence we're going to start seeing prices increase in the near future.
And it's still 10% on many other countries as well, right? That 10%.
Exactly. The tariff environment's gotten very confusing, and we won't be able to cover all the different ins and outs of it. But generally, it's 10% on countries, exceptions of Mexico and Canada, and then 30% on China. And that's in addition to areas where we already had tariffs. So people think about T-shirts coming from China. Apparel already had tariffs. You didn't notice them because they've been around for a long time and it was the normal part of prices you were already paying. But I think certainly people that were importing stuff from China, those small businesses that were getting T-shirts from China and doing screen printing, they knew those tariffs were already there, and they see this as a big increase to their cost of business.
All right, well, let's move away from Walmart, talk a little bit about the markets. This morning, not a great example because it sounds like it's starting off a little shaky again. But over the last couple weeks, the markets have been absolutely fantastic. It's as if nothing has been happening after really kind of tanking right away. S&P recovered all of its value that it lost. How do you explain what's going on with the markets?
You know, I'm a little bit worried that the markets are being too optimistic right now, that we are still in a tariff environment that we haven't seen since the Great Depression. And so, yes, the news has been better because a lot of those highest tariffs have been rolled back. And so I think what you're going to see from the market is that there's a lot of uncertainty with respect to policy, and that's going to end up in volatility. There are going to be bigger swings. So from Liberation Day in early April, we saw markets tank for a few days, down 12, 13%. And then once those tariffs were rolled back, we've seen kind of mostly increases up to the point where we're now up beyond where we were before Liberation Day. And I think that volatility is really important for people to remember because I think it underscores that kind of market guidance of if you have time to leave your money in the market, that's what you should be doing. Because if you miss out on just a few of those big good days, it completely eats away any of the returns that you're going to get.
Good point.
All right, graduation season. I just asked you what your holiday plans were. Graduation's coming up. Let's talk a little bit about the job market for college grads. How is that looking?
You know, on the top level, if people were to look at the unemployment rate or the number of jobs being created, it looks pretty good. 4.2% unemployment rate. We're creating 177,000 jobs last month. But I think that hides one of the kind of underlying factors in the labor market right now, which is there's not a lot of churn. And what we mean by that is that people aren't getting fired. They're not leaving to go get a better job. And so that's not opening up positions for recent grads to go into them. And that can be frustrating when we talk about, oh, it's a great job market out there. And then recent grads are like, well, I haven't found my job yet. Is this something about me? Not at all. It's that we have seen increasing duration of unemployment. So it's taking longer for people to find that job. But I mean, our grads, they're awesome. At St. Thomas, they have been finding those jobs. I've been impressed again and again by what jobs people are finding out there. It's just taking a little bit longer. So best advice, keep at it. Know that it's not about anything that you've done. It's not an indictment of your accomplishments. It's the larger market plus a little bit of a headwind maybe from AI and from layoffs in Washington. But once you find that first job, it's always easier to find the second one.
That's true. All right. Well, let's talk about you yourself getting ready to hopefully enjoy some summer vacation.
Absolutely.
How are we doing economically all I hear is people complaining about airline ticket prices right now.
Yeah.
Which what I was thinking about, what we say here, it makes me nervous every time I'm about to spout the data that says it's opposite of people's experience, which is, you know, airline travel in the official data says it's down 8% year over year. Now, I'm with everybody else. When I go to buy my tickets, I always feel like it's expensive. But at least in the official data, this is one of the upsides of the consumer mood being a little bit lower, is that it's kind of taken some of the wind out of airfare prices. Same thing with hotels. They're down 2 or 3% year over year. And then those gas prices for people doing those road trips have been pretty consistent. And this has been interesting because typically when oil prices are too low, we'll see OPEC and some of the Middle Eastern countries cut production.
Yep.
And so far they haven't done that. And so that's allowed oil prices and gasoline prices here in Minnesota to stay pretty mellow. And hopefully that will continue through the end of the summer.
All right.
All right, I'll trust you because I'm with you when I'm looking for airfare. I feel like it's not what it was last year.
Everybody else seems to be getting the deal but me, is what it feels like.
You're not wrong about that. It's like, what, you hear somebody else, I just got to, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Professor, good to see you.
Yep, thanks for having me.